This episode of the SuperHypeGaming podcast is, like Death Stranding, brought to you by Monster Energy Drinks. Hey guys, so I am Michael Flanagan, and this is officially the first episode of the SuperHypeGaming podcast. We're actually going to talk about some video games today, and not my stupid mountain climbing trip. It's been a couple weeks, so I'm over milking that. So we're back to talking about video games. We've got some pretty good lineup of stuff here. TGS happened this week, Tokyo Game Show 2019, and it wasn't the huge bombshell that I was expecting it to be, but there was some pretty big stuff. But first, like all podcasts, I'm going to spend the first 15 minutes or so talking about myself. No, we won't go for that long. So I did mention last time that I wasn't sure how solo podcasting would work. I do love podcasts, and I am very happy to have my own podcast. But I wasn't sure how it would work. I didn't really want to do it just by myself. I kind of wanted a partner to do this with, somebody to bounce off with. But it's just me. I mean, Dusty's here, but she knows jack shit about video games. So it's just going to be me again today. So yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about some stuff I've been doing. Okay, you guys. I have been watching Hannibal. If you don't know me, I have been watching Hannibal for the first time. This, of course, the TV series with Mads Mikkelsen. What is it, like Hugh Dancy? Lawrence Fishburne is in it. Very, very, very good show. Very, very, very good show. It's only 3 seasons long. And so I don't like hyperboles, but the season 2 finale of Hannibal might be the best episode of television that I have ever watched. Everything that led up to it just wrapped up really, really nicely. It was just a really my fucking phone, dude. I gotta turn this shit off. Still an amateur podcast. It's only episode 1, so we'll work out all the kinks. We will work out all the kinks. Still not really sure, again, where this is even gonna go, what this project even looks like. But yeah, I've been watching Hannibal. Season 2 ends very well. Very, very, very well. Season 3 so far, I'm only 5 or 6 episodes in. Complete bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. Basically, takes back everything that made Season 2 so good. It basically just undoes all of that. So, a little disappointing. I've heard that it ends kind of on a cliffhanger. So that's a little disappointing. Also, if you don't know, this weekend I went to kind of a little audition. It was kind of like a talent scouting thing up in Atlanta. And yeah, I went up there, and it was 5 hours of waiting around for 15 minutes of action. So yeah, it was basically this company that kind of seeks out new talents and tries to put them in front of agents and stuff. So you go, and they spend a lot of time just talking about the company, talking about the business, the industry. Way too much time talking about shit than they really needed to. They're talking about how time is money, and they're just going on and on and on and on. And it's okay, lady, shut the hell up and just let's fucking get on with it. But it was funny because it was mostly kids in this group. I'm 24 years old. There was only maybe 2 or 3 people in my age range. It was a lot of kids, and so they were talking about some of the clients that they've worked with in the past. And one of them was Brenda Song. And they were saying, oh, yeah, Brenda Song, she's in the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. You guys remember that show? And it's just complete crickets from all the kids. And I'm sitting there oh, no. I've fucking reached that moment where just a bunch of kids around me don't know about our TV show that I watched as a kid. So that was really fun. Really, really fun to feel like an old fucking man for 5 hours. But yeah, that went really well. And so that was on a Saturday. And then Saturday night on stream, I was streaming that night I was drunk as fuck on stream too, streaming Dark Souls 2, and they called me back for round 2 basically, and so I went in on Sunday, and that went really well. And so for the next couple months on Saturdays, I'm going to be going to kind of like little workshops in Atlanta, and then it's all going to lead up to like a showcase where I'll be in front of a bunch of agents, and they're all going to fight over who gets to have me. Which, who knows how that will go. But it's exciting. It's always good to do stuff like that. I feel like, it's always good to kind of just put yourself out there and see what happens. And even if nothing happens, it's a good experience. It's a good life experience. And it could be a way to connect with people and just meet some like-minded people. So that should be really good. Really excited about that. I will keep you guys updated on how that goes. Okay, so we are 6 minutes in. It's time to start the podcast proper. So I'll try to get like all of the non-TGS stuff out of the way first. So the first thing that we have on our agenda here is Jeff Keighley and Naughty Dog have announced that on September 24th, there will be a Last of Us Part 2 media event happening in Los Angeles. Not a lot of details about this. It seems to be a thing where it seems to be like a industry-only event. I think it's going to be a thing. My guess is that it's going to be a thing where a bunch of media outlets are invited, and they're going to be shown a bunch of stuff, and Naughty Dog's going to talk to them about a bunch of stuff. And then a few days later, they will kind of release some of that stuff to the public, and all these outlets will be able to be like, yeah, we went and they demonstrated the game for us, and, here's what they said about certain things, here's what they told us. So yeah, that should be really, really cool. They've been pretty hush about this game. We haven't got a lot of info, and it's been almost, I feel like it's been almost 3 years since this game has been announced. I know it was announced at one of the Game Awards, either like 2 or 3 years ago. So not too much has been shown on the game so far. And I really think that this event, this September 24th event, is going to be pretty substantial. I think most of what they show from The Last of Us Part 2 from now up until release is going to come from this event. I don't think they're going to like bombard everybody with news about this game. I think they're going to show some big stuff on the 24th. And then up until release, they're going to kind of keep things to themselves. I think Sony and Naughty Dog knows that, the less they show of this, the better. People are hungry for this game. So I think they know that they don't need to like blow the game out too much. Show some of the new gameplay stuff. That's kind of the stuff that I'm mostly interested in. Show some depth in the gameplay, because The Last of Us Part 1, my opinion is that the gameplay is pretty shallow. You see a lot of those stealth takedowns. They're almost exactly the same, and so you're seeing some of those stealth takedowns over and over and over and over and over again. So yeah, show some of those gameplay stuff, those gameplay improvements. It looks like they showed a little bit of gameplay at the last time that Sony went to E3. So what is that? E3 2018. So they showed a little bit. They kind of made it seem like their AI is a little more dynamic and stuff. Again, we'll see like how much of that actually makes it into the game. I remember with the first Last of Us, they had the trailer in the hotel room, and the game looked way more dynamic there than it actually was at release. So we'll see. I think it would be smart to just mostly show gameplay and just kind of tease with the story. I think people are already on board for the story, so just kind of give us some teases, and I think they'll be good with that game. And I think like, who knows when this game will come out? Definitely 2020. I feel like this could be a February-March 2020 game. For sure. I don't think it's going to come out too late in the year. Next gen is pretty much confirmed to start next holiday. So it's definitely not going to be like a November release or anything. And I think if they're doing this event now in September, then like a summer event or a summer release next year is too far away. So I'm gonna say like February, March is my prediction for the release of that game. And this is why I need a partner chat. I almost said chat as if I'm fucking streaming. This is why I need a partner, because it's like I can't even take a drink of water without there's just being this fucking awkward silence in the middle of the podcast. Okay. So that's that. The next thing I have written down here is Remedy's Control. So Remedy came out and kind of announced like a roadmap for their game, which is really cool to get from a single player game. So I've been playing Control. I actually beat the main story. I've been streaming it on my Twitch channel, which is at SuperHypeGaming. Surprise. So yeah, I beat the main story, and I'm still streaming it. I want to get that platinum. Platinum seems pretty easy to get. But Control is not a 10. It's like an 8. It's like an 8. There's some really cool moments in that game. I think it doesn't get as weird as I was hoping it would get, but it's really, really good. It's really good. It's really cool that games like Control can just exist, you know? But Remedy kind of announced a new roadmap here, and we'll see if I can get it to pull up. Yeah. So they finally put out a patch. This game has some performance issues. I've been playing it on PS4 Pro, and even on PS4 Pro, it has some performance issues. I know one of the biggest issues that I had was every time you pause the game and then resume, the frame rate just dies. It goes to like 10 FPS for a couple seconds, which is pretty bad. So hopefully I think they added in the option to turn off motion blur and film grain. And so those are always welcome. I hate motion blur in games. I hate it so much. But so that's really nice. But hopefully they continue to patch some of those performance issues out of the game. But as far as content updates, they've got the first content update is in fall. They're adding a photo mode. Kind of surprising that the game didn't launch with this. Pretty much every game nowadays launches with photo mode. But that's really cool. I think there's some cool places to take some cool in-game photos in Control. So that's really nice. And then December 2019, they have Expeditions, which is, all that they said is that it's a new game mode, Expeditions. So, really no idea what that could be. It could be some kind of horde mode thing. It could be some kind of, see how deep you can get into the layer or something. Who knows? But that's coming in December 2019. And then early 2019, they have The Foundation, which is an expansion. So it's really cool. It seems like they're just kind of going to add a couple expansions onto the game, add some more, story content. I won't spoil the ending, but the ending definitely did leave some things open, for the story to continue and go forward. And I hope they kind of wrap things up with Control in these expansions instead of trying to do a sequel. I think Control would be best if they just kind of like let it be its own thing and finish it and, leave it alone. No need for Control 2 or anything. So yeah, early 2020 is The Foundation, which is expansion number 1. And then mid-2020, and these will probably be, who knows how accurate these estimations for the releases are. But mid-2020, we have AWE, which is expansion 2. And if you've played Control, you know that AWE stands for Altered World Events. And the tease here is in the logo for this expansion, they have pretty much the cover of Alan Wake on here. And the base game of Control had some references to Alan Wake. So it looks like they're going to just go, full into those and get our Remedy, cinematic universe going on. So that's pretty cool. It's always cool to get a single player roadmap and just new content for single player games. I don't think these things will be free. I think some of the stuff like photo mode and maybe the new game mode will be free. I'm trying to see here, but I believe there is like a season pass, which will probably include those expansions. But really cool. Looking forward to those. Looking forward to getting that platinum on stream for that game. Always nice to have a fun platinum game. Like platinum trophy, not platinum the game developers. But both are good. Okay. We also have Nintendo. Nintendo is officially revealing their Nintendo cock ring accessory. So Nintendo Ring Fit is a new controller thing, and this is like a new... The trailer for this thing, the initial reveal trailer, which showed like no gameplay or anything, it was just people's expressions, was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I encourage you to go watch that trailer. Nintendo always makes fucking weird ass dumb trailers for their new peripherals for their new controllers and shit. I can't talk today, chat. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. But this looks like it's gonna be just some shit that people who like Labo, people who like to stream Labo and make fun of themselves, they'll probably be really into it. Everybody else, not too into it. But yeah, it's this ring, and you put a Joy-Con into the ring, and then there's a leg strap. I mean, it's basically like Wii Fit, So it's funny that Nintendo had their Direct a couple weeks ago, and then the day after the Direct is when they put the trailer out, the initial trailer, which didn't actually show anything off. Like the day after. And so everyone was hyped for fucking Sans in Smash, and Terry Bogard in Smash, and fucking all this other shit from the Direct. Deadly Premonition 2 out of nowhere. Everyone's hyped, and then the day after, Nintendo's like, okay, all you people that are here for the weird like bullshit, we still got you. Don't worry, we're still here. So yeah, that's that. Definitely not gonna buy that thing. That thing will be like that thing will fucking sell out though, guaranteed. I think Labo fucking sold out. It was ridiculous. But yeah, hopefully I never have to talk about that on a podcast ever again. Okay, but now we can get into some of the TGS stuff. So Tokyo Game Show happened, and it was a several day long event, and lots of stuff was shown off. I thought TGS is always weird because sometimes there's a lot of stuff, and then sometimes it's just, just some little stuff. And this was definitely kind of in between. Mostly new information from games that we already knew about. Not a lot of, announcements. In fact, on my list here, I don't even have, any new game announcements. But yeah, the first thing that was kind of shown off was some more of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And they put out, a 2.5-minute trailer. They showed some new environments in Midgar. They showed off some of the new characters and stuff, the Turks. Showed off, summons. So Cloud summons Ifrit, and it looks fucking amazing. This game looks amazing visually. This game looks really, really, really nice. And the fucking music. The music is so good. The music is so good, you guys. So yeah, they showed that off. They showed off some mini games and stuff that are in the game. There's an exercising mini game where Cloud is doing squats against these fucking bodybuilders, and Tifa is doing pull-ups. So that all looks really goofy and fun. Still it seems like this game is, I think they said it's coming first to PlayStation. So still no word about if it's going to come to PC, if it's going to come to Xbox or anything, but still just PS4 only for now. But yeah, that's exciting. Next we have Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind DLC trailer. So listen to me. I am a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. I love Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 3, my expectations for Kingdom Hearts 3 were low already, just based on what I was seeing up until release. And even with low expectations, Kingdom Hearts 3 was still a massive disappointment to me. It was still massively disappointing. And I won't go on too long of a rant about why it was disappointing, but basically the story was just way too rushed. None of the characters really felt like themselves. A lot of things that were hyped up to happen either just happened, with absolutely no fanfare, or just didn't happen at all. And so this trailer for the DLC is ooh, that's way too loud. This trailer for the DLC is still like I'm not erect. I'm not even like slightly erect from this trailer. Not even like slightly erect from this Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, which is incredibly surprising because 15-year-old me would have been just hard as a rock after seeing any Kingdom Hearts trailer. But they showed off they're gonna have some new playable characters. You're gonna be able to play some of the other characters in that kind of final boss rush area. Which, sure, I mean, you're gonna play these characters for like 5 minutes. That's basically how long those boss fights are. So I guess that's cool. They showed off, looks like some more boss fights. They showed off some story stuff that's like, the story stuff really should have just been there in the main game. Yeah. And then what else did they show off? Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Like, here's some new cutscenes. Here's a couple new bosses. And you're gonna be able to be able to play as some of the other characters for like 5 minutes. So yeah, still no like word on like pricing or anything. Or release date. When is this fucking coming out? When the fuck is this even coming out? I don't think it even says. Yeah, still no word on like coming this winter. Okay. Coming this winter. Yeah, like if depending on how much they charge for this DLC, it's like this is just going to be a wet fart. This is just going to be a wet fart. Like this is not the type of DLC that this game needs. And it's like when you think of like the final mixes from previous games, I don't know, that stuff was exciting, and it was, that stuff was kind of similar where it was just like new bosses and new playable characters, but for some reason that was exciting and this just isn't. So unfortunate, but I mean, I'm still probably going to play that DLC. I'm still probably going to play it. But definitely not playing Kingdom Hearts 4. Like I'm out of the series. That was one of my biggest gripes about Kingdom Hearts 3 was that it felt like they spent more time after how long it took to get Kingdom Hearts 3 to spend so much time like hyping up Kingdom Hearts 4. It was like, all right, like I'm done. I'm out. I'm tapping out. All right. Enough Kingdom Hearts 3 talk. Next up we have Nioh 2. So Nioh, let me tell you about Nioh. Nioh is like a really solid 7 for me. Nioh is like a really solid 7. The game has some issues. I think the biggest issues with Nioh 1 are the whole loot mechanic. I hate games that have just throw like mountains and mountains of trash loot on you. I kind of prefer like the Dark Souls style where it's like you go to an area and you pick up an item, and that's like the great sword, that's the long sword. Compared to Nioh where you're getting like 50 katanas and they all pretty much have the same stats, and you might pick up a katana that does like 1 point more damage than the one that you're currently using. And you're like, okay, I guess I'll use the one that does 55 damage compared to the one that does 54 damage. And it just doesn't feel very satisfying. Um, and the other thing was the enemy variety. There's like 10 enemies in that game, and you're fighting them for the whole game, and so it gets a little boring. It gets a little repetitive. I think by the end of the game, on some of those later levels, I was really just like running through the areas, just to get to the boss, because I was just so sick of fighting the enemies, and I knew that none of the item pickups were going to be like really anything that was worth it. But Nioh 2, it looks good. Nioh 1 was a good game. And Nioh 2, like, some of these bosses are just like so fucked up looking. There's this like weird demon horse. There's like a weird cat thing that looks like, this cat thing looks like it's straight out of Monster Hunter or some shit. And so Nioh 2 has like character customization. So you're not going to be playing as like a set character like William from Nioh 1. Yeah, like this spider boss, this is like straight out of Monster Hunter. So yeah, could be really cool. One thing I do really like about Nioh is the stamina recovery mechanic. And so that makes a return. So yeah, could be a good game. I feel like Nioh 2 is going to be like an 8. It's going to be like a solid game. It's just not going to be that 9 or 10 that must play. I feel like you could wait until this game is like $30. But yeah, right now it's early 2020 for that game. They did announce their first beta, which is going to be happening November 1st through November 10th. And if it's anything like Nioh 1 had like 4 or 5 betas, which is really, really cool. It is really cool for a developer to be like, okay, here's our beta. Tell us what you think. Okay, here's our next beta. We fixed some stuff. Tell us what you think now. Here's our next beta. We fixed even more stuff. Tell us what you think. It's cool to see that, and so I will applaud that sort of thing. But yeah, I'll probably play the. I think they had one beta already. So this November beta I think will be their second beta. But yeah, that's really, really cool. That game will be good, just not really great. Okay, and also, so Kojima showed off like 3 hours of Death Stranding stuff. It was a little ridiculous. I think they showed off like 80 minutes in total of Death Stranding, and I didn't watch hardly any of it. The only thing that I've seen from the TGS Death Stranding stuff is the Monster fucking, you got like Monster energy drinks in your room, and they also showed off the dick staring mechanic, because Japan loves their dick staring mechanics. So they showed off that, like, you look at the main. There's a part where your main character is in like a room, and you can like look around the room and stuff. And if you stare at his dick, he like gets embarrassed and covers himself, and then punches the camera. So perfectly par for the course for a Kojima game. I remember when MGS5 was being shown off, they were hyping up like the horse shitting mechanic, where you can command your horse to take a shit, and like enemies will like notice the horse shit too. It was a whole thing. So kind of par for the course for Kojima. But I didn't watch a lot of the videos and stuff that were shown off here, because I'm pretty much on media blackout of this game. I'm sold on the setting. The setting is weird. Characters seem weird. Seems like a weird just thing for a AAA game to be. So I'm already sold. I'm in. You got my $60 already, Kojima. You don't need to show me more. And I know that's like bad practices, but I'm just so it's the same thing with Control, where it's like, it's so cool that weird ass games like this can exist. Even if it sucks, even if it's just like the worst fucking game that's ever been made, which I doubt. But even if it sucks, it's cool to see AAA games that are just weird, Like Uncharted is not weird. The Last of Us even is not that weird. And those are good games, but it's still cool to just see these weird ass games exist in this space. So I'm excited for it. And there's a bunch of other little stuff like Gungrave Gore Gungrave Gore. Yep, that's a mouthful. Got announced, so if you're a fan of Gungrave, I'm sure that's exciting. There's a new Shenmue trailer. I really do want to play the Shenmue games. Just not there yet. Not enough time. Too many good games. Too many good games. Okay. And Yakuza Team also showed off a bunch of gameplay stuff from Yakuza 7. So Yakuza 7, obviously, taking the series in a new direction, changing the series up from the beat 'em up kind of style to some turn-based combat, which I haven't played any of the Yakuza games. They're on my list. They're like high on my list of games to play. It's just those games are such a commitment. It's such a time commitment, and I just haven't gotten there yet, which I'm really disappointed in myself that I haven't gotten there yet. But I haven't. So yeah, Yakuza 7, brand new protagonist, brand new cast of characters, still in the same world, but definitely the biggest thing is that they're mixing up the combat, making it turn-based combat. It's still wacky as shit. It's still fucking wacky as hell. They were showing off like some summons, and it's this whole elaborate cutscene where this fucking lobsters are falling from the sky, and your enemy gets like attacked by a lobster that does like 9 damage, but it inflicts like a status effect. So yeah, the combat in this has me very interested, and obviously like the kind of reshift of the story with a new cast and everything has me interested in. This could be my first Yakuza game, which I'd feel like a scrub. I'd feel like a scrub that's like, okay, I'll jump in now that it's like all new stuff. But it looks really exciting. And like this the engine, I think it's the Dragon engine that they call it, just looks really nice. Like this is just a really nice looking game. The character models look really, really good. And yeah, just a bunch of goofy shit. There's like a sumo wrestler that's slapping a tree. Yeah, there's this like weird lobster summon. There's a bunch of weird bikers and stuff. There's a fucking crane boss. So definitely an interesting game to check out, for sure. Super excited for that. Don't know if there's a definite release date. Obviously it's going to be, I think that they've confirmed that it's coming to the West. I mean, obviously, I think every Yakuza game that comes out from now on is coming to the West. I don't think there's a fear that these games aren't going to be localized anymore. But it's still going to take some time to localize it. It's still going to be probably 6 months up to a year before after the Japanese release, before this game comes out in the West. But 2020. Okay, so it looks like January 16th is the Japanese release date. Hopefully that's right. But yeah, it could be like summer before that game comes out to the West. But yeah, that game looks really, really nice. I think it's coming along really, really nicely, and some of that new stuff is looking exciting. All right, so next, and this was teased before TGS. This was actually leaked. Was this Resident Evil Project Resistance? And so this was kind of rumored to be, the screenshots were leaked, and it showed 4 kind of generic looking protagonists. And so people were expecting like an Outbreak style game, which apparently there's a lot of nostalgia for those Outbreak games. After this game was kind of showed off, a lot of people were like, damn, I wish this was more like Outbreak. But yeah, Capcom loves their weird Resident Evil spin-offs. We've got Outbreak, there's like Raccoon City, Umbrella Corps, which was just fucking terrible. But yeah, this one obviously looks really nice. It's made in the new RE engine, which has been used now for RE7, RE2, Remake, Devil May Cry 5, and all of those games look fucking amazing. The character models look fucking amazing. Environments look really nice. Lighting is really nice. Enemies look super gross. So yeah, we had a little CGI trailer before TGS, which kind of teased that it's not just four-person co-op. It's more of a 4v1, asymmetrical style game. kind of like Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th or Evolve, or any of those kind of games. But yeah, they showed off some gameplay, and people are already kind of bagging on this game. People are already kind of like, this game looks like it sucks. I think it looks interesting. I think it could be fun. It almost has like a game style kind of vibe to it, because it seems like these 4 characters are in some kind of like giant warehouse or something, and there's one player that is the opposing player, and he's kind of like triggering all these traps. Jesus, how many times am I gonna have to say triggering before I can actually say it right? So there's one player like setting off all these traps, and I think the player can actually take control of zombies, and you can send out Mr. X and take control of Mr. X and just fuck some people up, and give it to him. X is gonna give it to him. But yeah, I think this could be cool. I think people are kind of shitting on this game and saying like, why isn't this Resident 3 remake? Why isn't this Resident Evil 8? And I think they're forgetting that Resident Evil 2 remake just came out this year. Like we're still fresh from that, and Resident Evil 8 is coming. Resident Evil 3 remake is coming. Like those things are inevitable. So I think it's fine for Capcom to be like, we're gonna take this engine, we're gonna take this franchise, and we're gonna do something kind of fun with it. But yeah, I mean, they didn't show off too much of the game, so I think it's too early to kind of call judgment on this game. But I think it could be cool. I mean, I definitely want to run around as Mr. X and fuck some people up. So we'll see. I think it could be interesting. And they did announce a beta test, which is coming pretty soon. October 4th is the first beta test for Resident Evil Project Resistance, and I hope they give it a better name than that. I hope they give it a better name than Project Resistance, because that's a pretty shitty name. I think the shittiest thing that I've seen from this project so far is the name. Definitely needs something better than that. And I don't see it on here. I'll have to look it up. But I think the last like big thing that was announced was, or not really announced, but shown off, was Tales of Arise, or Tales of Arise. They showed a new trailer for that. Had not very long, but they showed some story stuff. They showed some gameplay stuff. And I haven't played any of the Tales games, but this one definitely has me interested. The general sentiment that I get about the Tales games is that they're pretty good games. They're pretty good, not like amazing or 10 out of 10s, but they're pretty good JRPGs. And this one looks really nice. I mean, obviously, the art style is pretty new for the series. All the characters look really cool. They've got this character who has this flame sword, and every time he uses the flame sword, it like fucks up his hand. And his hand gets all charred and shit. And his partner, he's got a lady friend, and it seems like after battle she kind of heals his hands, and that seems really cool. I really like that kind of like, you've got this just cool like relationship thing that we need each other. I'm gonna fuck up my hand every time we have a battle, and I need you to be there to heal it afterwards. So yeah, showed off just a little sneak peek of the gameplay. It is a action game. But yeah, I think the Tales series is pretty generally well regarded. I think this game is looking really nice so far. Yeah, like he uses the flame sword, and like the environment gets all charred around him too. It's really really cool. So yeah, don't know. Let's see. Is there a release date on this at all? Tales of Arise. Also, I think as far as I know, one of the first games that doesn't end in like Ia. All the other games like Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Exilia, Tales of Zestiria, Tales of Berseria, all cannot end in that Ia. And I guess this one kind of puts it first. But yeah, the game looks really really good, and I'm really excited for that. and depending on the release date of that, could be my first Tales game. So that's cool. And that pretty much wraps it up for like all of the TGS news, all the big stuff. Anyways, I thought that Square Enix's Avengers game was supposed to be showed off a little bit. Let me look this up because it was on the schedule. Yeah, they've got a new trailer here. Let's check this trailer out. It's only 1 minute and 30 seconds long. But this game is so weird, the way that they're marketing this game. I think like a couple weeks ago they were showing off, this game is coming out in May of next year. And a couple weeks ago they were showing off like skins for some of the characters. And it's like, why the fuck are you showing off skins? Like, we've barely seen even any gameplay. We barely even know what this game is, really. Other than the fucking character models look garbo. And some of the costume design looks really bad. I think it's weird. It's like half the characters look good and half the characters look bad. I think Hulk looks fine. I think it's a little weird that that Bruce Banner is dressed exactly the same way as Mark Ruffalo was in the first Avengers. Like, they're trying to be their own thing, but they're not. And I don't want them to look like the MCU actors. That's not what I want. But I think they should look good. I think they should at least look good and look like a comic book character. But like Captain America, his costume looks like shit. Like, his stupid SWAT outfit looks really, really bad. I think Iron Man looks actually pretty good, but like Tony Stark looks really weird. I think Thor's design is actually okay. Still disappointed that there's no Hawkeye. Like, come on. How are you going to have, the exact same lineup as the first Avengers movie and not have fucking Hawkeye? You're just going to have everyone except for Hawkeye. It's pretty disappointing. But yeah, like, the marketing for this game has just been really weird. It's like, just the way, the things that they're showing off and when they're showing them off. Like, why are you showing me fucking skins before I even like 100% know what this game is? And the game's not even coming out until May of next year. It's just really weird. So it looks like they've got like just a short trailer from TGS, and it's still like all of the bridge stuff. This might not even be it. This might not even be the new trailer. But yeah, I can't even find it. If there's a new trailer from TGS, I really can't even find it. But I hope this game is good. It's still like, is this a live service game? Is it a single player game? Is it a Destiny style game? Like, there's no real concrete there's not a lot of concrete evidence or information about this game. So it's just really weird to me. It's just really, really weird. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's it. That's kind of all of the TGS stuff. And the last thing I have on here, which is not really surprising news, but Jeff Keighley did announce that the Game Awards are happening again this year. They're going to be happening December 12th, 2019, which is pretty much the same time of the year that it happens every year. So not too surprising. But I think, Jeff Keighley's been doing he's been doing like the Game Awards. This is going to be like the fourth one or whatever. But he also had like the Spike Game Awards, which he did, and those were pretty bad. Jeff Keighley is great. Jeff Keighley is always great. And I think when he split off and started doing the Game Awards by himself, the quality just went through the roof. And I think the Game Awards is an event that gets better each year. I think Jeff Keighley is incredibly entertaining, really, really genuine guy, and I think he puts on a great show. And there is some exciting stuff that happens at the Game Awards. Last of Us Part 2 was announced at one of the Game Awards. Last year we got like new Smash characters. We got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. So I think the Game Awards is something to look forward to. It's a nice it's 6 months away from E3. So I feel like, a lot of companies that weren't ready for E3 are like, hey, now is the perfect time to show off our game, and who better to do it with than Jeff Keighley. So that's really good. And yeah, that's it for all the news that I've got. That's it for all the news that I got. I'm sure that something big's probably gonna drop. That's how it happens with podcasts, right? You record the podcast, and then as soon as you upload it, some big fucking news happens, and you have to wait until the next week. But yeah, that's episode 1. Holy shit, that's episode 1 of the Super Hype Gaming podcast. Can you believe it? And it's just with me. I keep saying I'm still looking for a person to do this podcast with. I still want this to be at least a 2-person podcast, because it's like I just work best when I have like someone to bounce off of, and it's just not just me monologuing for an hour. And I've got some bits planned. I've got some bit ideas. But that kind of stuff is hard to do just by myself. Just fucking by myself. It's hard to do bits with yourself. But, yeah, so this will be episode 1. And not sure, like, if this is going to be a bi-weekly thing. Again, this is a new project for me. And I'm not entirely sure what the scope of this project is. I think basically whenever I feel like recording a podcast, I will record a podcast. That's how you should expect it to work for now. But if you want to see me on a more frequent basis, you can, of course, follow my Twitch channel, which is at SuperHypeGaming. Let's see, what am I playing this week? This week I'm playing more Control. Still working on Control. Still working on getting that Platinum Trophy in Control. I think that's a really fun stream game. And then this Friday and this Saturday, I will be playing Metal Gear Solid 1 for the first time, which I'm really, really excited about. This is a game that I've meant to get to for a long, long time. I've been trying to play this game. The only Metal Gear games that I've played are 5, which has almost no story. That's pretty much just a military kind of stealth shooter with almost no story. So, and the other Metal Gear game that I've played, which is one of my favorite games of all time, is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. And that, of course, is... I think it's, like, not technically canon, but I know it takes place after 4. And I really fucking love that game. That game is goofy as hell. That game is hype as hell. Gameplay in that game is just a dream. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to play Metal Gear Solid 1. I'm hoping we can finish it off in, like, 1 or 2 kind of longer streams. And then, who knows, maybe we'll keep playing the rest of the series. But, yeah, that's exciting. And then, this Saturday, so my schedule for my stream, you can find it in a panel on my Twitch page. Or you can go to my Twitter account, which is at SuperHypeGaming. I tweet my schedule there. I tweet a lot of great jokes. You should definitely follow my Twitter account. It's pretty hilarious. I'm pretty much the comedy god in the gaming space. So you should definitely follow me on Twitter. Yeah, so this Saturday I go to my first workshop thing for the acting thing, and that's exciting. I'm definitely going to talk about that, when I stream later that day. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's podcast. Thank you to all 1.5 people that listen to this. I really, really appreciate you. And until next time, goodbye. Yeah, see, like, this is like, I think last time we asked ourselves, how the fuck do we start a podcast? How the fuck do we start a podcast? And now it's like, how the fuck do we end a podcast? How the fuck are we supposed to end a podcast? I think I'm just gonna rant, and we're just gonna fucking cut it off cold stop. How does that sound?